In today's video, we'll explore how Flexera's IT Visibility, or ITV for short, empowers organizations to identify and act on obsolescence risk. By consolidating and normalizing software and hardware inventory data, then enriching it with lifecycle intelligence from the Technopedia catalog, IT Visibility enables clear insights into which technologies are approaching end of life or end of support. With intuitive dashboards and out-of-the-box reporting, teams can proactively address vulnerabilities, reduce compliance exposure, and make smarter decisions about upgrades, replacements, or decommissioning. To get started, let's look at some of the data sources that we can take in. Come over here to our documentation page, and you can see these are the inventory sources that we can take in. Some of them are going to be out of the box, or some of them are going to require a little bit of configuration. In its most basic form, we can also take an import template, populate it with hardware and software data, and publish it into Flexera 1, which will then normalize and standardize that data. After that data has been standardized and normalized within Flexera 1, we can see how it's presented by coming over here to the IT Visibility tab, and let's look at all the TI reports. Broadly speaking, the dashboards have been divided into hardware, software, risk and governance, procurement, security, spend and cost, and even custom reports that you can create. All the reports here are out of the box. They have been configured for our customers, and you can take them, tweak them, or you can create fresh ones from scratch based on the personas that you need to see this data. These are all built on Power BI, enabling you to slice them, dice them, present the data which makes the most sense to you, and without specialized expertise to make use of our data. For today's video, we're going to focus on obsolescence, and that's going to take mainly two forms: hardware obsolescence and software obsolescence. Let's come over here to the hardware tab, and let's come over here to proactive hardware end of sale and obsolescence guide. Remember all the hardware data which we have inventoried from the different sources. We have taken that data, normalized it, standardized it, making sure it's in a way that makes sense to people. We put in end of sale and obsolescence date into all the hardware data we have picked up. Here we're going to see a dashboard that shows devices that are going to be obsolete in the next year, next 2 years, next 3 years, obsolescence by manufacturers, countdown by models in terms of days, or obsolete devices by subcategory. Scrolling down, we can also see obsolescence by year. We can go down 2 levels. We can even go down to a month if you want. And here you can see how we've also done this categorization and the subcategorization. Manufacturer names and product names have also been standardized. The domains have been picked up, and we can see the obsolescence state over here. On this last column here, we can see the impacted devices. In this case, there are catalyst switches of this model, and we have 148 of them. We can drill through, and here we're going to see the impacted devices exactly. You can see we've also picked up the device name and the device serial number. In terms of using this data, it would be helpful to prioritize the remediation or upgrade of these outdated or obsolete hardware, especially if they are supporting critical business applications and business services. Here you can see we've matched the obsolescence against the business services. And you can see for some of the business services, VMware vCenter v2 in this case, we have 2 bits of hardware which are running that are obsolete. Now let's look at it from the software perspective. Similar to what we have seen earlier, we're going to come down and look at the proactive software end of life and obsolescence guidance. Similar to what we have with hardware, we're going to take the software inventory that we have collected and enhance it with end of life and obsolescence data, which we have pulled from our Technopedia libraries. Again, we are seeing installs that are going to be end of life in the next year, 2 years, or 3 years, sorted out by manufacturer, which ones are going to be and countdown until end of life over here by the individual applications, by categories, by year, and also categories, subcategories, and the manufacturers. In terms of using this data, you might want to focus on applications with the largest number of installs. In this case, Windows SDK over here, Software Development Kit, and this release, version 10. Right click, drill through, show end of life install details. And we can see this is the software that's going to be impacted, and these are the devices that need to be focused on. It would really help to pay attention to these devices where these outdated applications are installed and prioritize remediating them and moving them to the latest versions. Because the inventory data also looks at major and minor versions of every application, we can come over here to the version update planner too. And we can see software versions additions being visualized within all these helpful dashboards. When we come over here to version management, we will be able to then visualize the extent of the products and sprawl. And depending on your corporate policies, we can see applications that are major or minor versions behind and by how much. Again, this data is very helpful when it comes to planning software migration to later versions and helping to mitigate the risk in your organization. Lastly, let's look at business service insights, where once again, we are taking data that we have, meshing it together with business services that we have picked up, and combining that with obsolescence data. This table here is going to give you a very nice consolidated view of obsolescence on both the hardware and the software side. In this particular business service, we have one of them. We can see the manufacturers, we can see the products, the models and devices, of which 6 are going to be obsolete. For the software, 43 manufacturers, 162 products, 206 versions, 207 releases, 294 installs, and 246 of them are going to be obsolete. What is the total risk score, and what is even the ESG scores attached to this particular business service? This gives a very nicely consolidated view of hardware and software obsolescence for particular business services and helps to drive action in terms of prioritizing future purchases of hardware upgrades, software upgrades, or remediation when it comes to vulnerabilities in your organization. We hope the depth and breadth of visibility, that the Flexera IT Visibility module provides is going to be useful for your organization to drive effective change and make smarter business decisions in your organization. Thank you.